All right, everybody, let's get started. So thank you so much for coming along to this special sneak peek webinar that we're hosting today here at Accelo. My name is Geoff McQueen. I'm one of the founders and the CEO here at Accelo. I'm joined by John, our solutions engineer and all-round product expert. And we're looking forward to showing you through what's just around the corner as a sneak peek for rich text formats or rich text editing inside of the activities module of Accelo. In terms of our agenda for today, we're going to do a quick recap just to remind folks who are maybe new to Accelo or new to activities what they're all about. We'll also talk about why rich text matters, and then we'll jump across into the actual demo where we'll show examples of creating rich text in activities, how to view them in the stream, the preview and launch timetable, and then as a bonus, we'll also be running through a couple of bonus sneak peeks for some stuff in our mobile app, as well as a really highly requested feature in the web app. As you've got questions, please use the Q&A button inside the webinar application to post your question. We'll field them probably at the end of the presentation, just because we've got our hands full with this demo. And it's great to have you all along and really looking forward to sharing this with you. At this point, I'll hand things over to John, who's going to give us a bit of a background in terms of activities and how they fit into the overall scheme of things.
Great, thanks, Geoff. So what are activities? Well, activities at the core are really any sort of work that we do for or with our clients. So when we first think about activities, I at least like to think about all the emails that we send back and forth, those meetings that we have weekly to review our progress, maybe phone calls in a late afternoon to get an update or to help a client out with something that they're stuck on. And also it could be internal work with the team. So that could be putting notes on a client from an update, or even any sort of work log on the background. Even if you just go to the timesheet, those are activities that we do with our customers. So what's really powerful about activities, especially those with email, is being able to live time track in Accelo. And so you can see here the 10 minutes, the 4 minutes I'm spending emailing back and forth, maybe the hour-long meeting that we had with the client. And being able to have those all in Accelo has been one of our biggest selling points and attractions to why our customers use Accelo every single day. But a big limiting factor traditionally has been rich text. So that's one of the biggest reasons why we're excited to show what we have today. The second part of it is not having to go into Gmail or hop over to Outlook to send my emails or shoot my meeting updates. Being able to do that all within Accelo, and then having that two-way integration with the applications that you love most, Google and Office 365, and making sure that it's coming out professional and awesome out of Accelo to match the power of Outlook or Gmail for your email integrations. So that's the work side. Now, what we'll look at today, and part of the power of having all of your activities connected to the work that you do within Accelo, is having everything in one place. So that's project updates alongside new business. That's being able to log time and see how far we're moving on a monthly retainer, all with the daily email requests that might come in throughout the month. So we'll spend most of our time looking at the client stream today. That's the easiest place to see all of your activities in one place. But keep in mind, activities really go throughout all of Accelo.
Thanks, John. And as John mentioned, the key phrase that we've been using as we've been working on this is around that concept of being professional, presenting yourself in a way that you're really proud of. And we know that having the ability inside of Accelo to create activities against projects you're working on, or tickets that you're involved with, or a sale that you're the part of trying to win is great. But having to go back to just limiting yourself to plain text has always been a bit of a frustration. Ourselves as an organization, we feel it too. You come in and you fill in you create an activity, you send an email to a client, you really wish you could do bullets, so instead you just end up with some ghetto asterisks at the start of each line. It's really not that good, no way to live. And the reason we haven't done it in the past is there's actually a fair bit of complexity, not just around the basics of doing activities, but then making sure the way they get displayed and used is supported for example, exporting them out to spreadsheets for reports or putting them in the footers of it or part of your email output isn't going to work so well with lots of different fonts and lots of different images and stuff like that. But all of those excuses don't really hold much water when all you really want to do is send a customer an email with a hyperlink and some bullets and an image embedded inside it. And that's what we've worked to try and deliver for you guys as part of this upgrade. So this ability to communicate clearly and professionally is really key. And as mentioned, that's been the focus of what we've been doing. What we've also wanted to do as part of this upgrade is make sure that we didn't find ourselves in that, horrible situation of going from being too primitive to all of a sudden being way too damn complex and ending up with something that was over the top, intimidating, and frankly looked like a word processor. So what you can see in the screenshot here is still our same standard create email interface. It's an activity screen of type email. We can see we've got a subject there called review of onboarding. And then what we have underneath it is the body, just like we've always done, except now you've got the ability to optionally show this formatting bar. And what's great about that is it's optional. So you can get in and use the activity screen without all of this being in your face, without feeling like you've accidentally opened up a desktop editor or a Word document. And you can benefit with copy and paste and keyboard shortcuts. And of course, for folks who don't know keyboard shortcuts or don't care for them, the ability to edit things is really close. It's just down in a new section that John will demonstrate for us now.
Great, thanks, Geoff. So the three different ways that you'll be able to now create rich text activities in Accelo is firstly, as Geoff alluded to, the menu down on the bottom of the activity will be likely the primary way that you interact with creating bullets and bolds, as you can see here. And then next we'll go into Inline, how we're able to, as you can see here, put hyperlinks, images, and tables into the rich text activity. And then lastly, as Geoff alluded to, some really helpful keyboard shortcuts that we put in to make bold, italics a lot easier. So first on the menu side, what we'll do is we'll hop into Accelo and show you how to create that first activity with rich text. So for those of you who have never created an activity in Accelo, there's a lot of different ways to do that. The first and easiest, probably the fastest way to create one is to go to the quick create button. So I can be anywhere within Accelo. I can be checking out my team's utilization. I can be looking at a deadline on a project, and I can create an activity universally. I would just have to search for what client it's against or for what work and then shoot it off from there. But since we're here already at the Delta Airlines company, and if I wanted to email someone at Delta Airlines, I could go and create a new activity here. And this is where we're seeing most of our customers sending out their emails or scheduling meetings. So the first step here, we have an email over to Tracy, pretty similar to how you're used to seeing it with the subject and the message. Maybe you're sending a quick update from the week. And then the first area that we can start changing, or that it's a little bit different, is having this formatting area here. So all you have to do is click on the A with the underline, and then you have some of the different options that we have now. So the first one is being able to define the font size here. So if I wanted to put in section headings between different phases, in the screenshot that we looked at before, it was an onboarding phase and also more information and pricing phase, we can do that. Then here we're able to put the different bold, italics, and underline. You're also able to change the text color. So some of our customers like to put green as things that are going well in a project, red for things that are holding up for the week. So you can do that now. You can justify or align your text as well. Really helpful for images or high-level headers. And then putting bullet list and bullet points. So for the number list, if we were just giving a weekly update, probably what I would like to do is just let the team know what I did for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then putting the different bolds and italics for each day. So those are the first steps with putting in rich text, and then maybe we want to put another section like what our onboarding program looks like. And usually I would at least bold this, but I would probably put a heading in as well for different font sizes. So that's the first step in creating rich text. And this is likely going to be most of the tools that you need to be able to create really professional and clear messages out of Accelo, especially as things like a weekly update to Tracy by using a paragraph, bold, and some of the other functions here, as well as the numbered in bullet list. The next, a bit more advanced step is using the inline edit to start creating things like tables and start pulling in images into your, in this case, email, but it could just as easily be an internal note to the team. So what you'll do here to get this inline menu is you can either right-click if you're using a trackpad. Most trackpads allow you to do a 2-finger touch to get to this. So if you had an onboarding program and potentially you wanted to let them know past case studies and share a link with them, what we can do here is we can right click. Let me just close this. And we can get some options. So the first one would be throwing in a link there, like a link to accelo.com that they could then click on. The next option that we have is throwing in an image. So here, the source of this image will be a URL. So if you have website assets, if you have a link through a CMS or an FTP, you can then access this through online. So one way that we can do this simply is go to Google Images and just pull in a stock photo of Los Angeles. Now what happened here is the image came in probably a little bit too big, so I can use the side icons to bring it down. I can also, again, right-click the image and come back to it and change the size here on the dimensions. And then the last section that we'll take a look at for this is using the table. So instead of making a bullet list for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe you wanted to make columns for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and give little updates down below. You can do so through the table. And then the last section is using some keyboard shortcuts to make it even easier to format and to put in additional content into your email. So for the keyboard shortcuts, we use what commonly Gmail, Office 365, really any word processor uses for the keyboard shortcuts. So those would be things like Command or Control B, Control I for italics, and Control U for underline. And then the last piece is something that you may all not know, is that Command or Control K can bring you to an insert link. So we can do that here as well. The last piece, so the keyboard shortcuts, these aren't technically keyboard shortcuts, but it does allow you to get images in here, is using copy and paste. So copy and paste, you can always right click and select and paste. But I usually like to use Command V for pulling in or Command C, sorry, for pulling in an image from, in this case, Google Docs, but I can pull it in from Word or really any document, and then drop it into my email activity. So with a Command or a Control V pulling it in. So now that we have all the things in line, we have some images and an update for a week, I can shoot this off to Tracy. So that's everything for now creating rich text, using the menu to put different sizes, bold, left align, numbers, using the inline to throw in things like a link and an image, and then some keyboard commands that help you really do what you were able to do in these both two with the point and click versions. Now for viewing rich text activities, there's a few options. So the first is in the stream, you're able to take a look at what we just sent with the images, the links, all the bold and the formatting. But if you take a note, what we've done is we've stripped all that formatting here to make it really easy for you to quickly look through the stream, skim the content, and then decide if it's something that you want to read. In our testing and our conversations, we were seeing that it was a little overwhelming to have all the bold and the images. And also we were relying on best practices that we saw in Gmail and Outlook for stripping down the content there. Another way to view the back and forth activities is if Tracy responded to my email. So here we'll be able to see any responses from Tracy because we have the two-way integration with Office 365 as well as G Suite. The emails that we send out to Tracy that she would be able to see in her email inbox, she can respond directly to them, and those responses would come directly back into the stream. So here, if Tracy uses Yahoo, she's able to see the conversation, and if she replies, we'll be able to see the reply in line. And that's what we're seeing here from something that I did just before the call. On Invoices, what we'll do is we'll take all the emails and conversations, or maybe even internal notes like a draft design that you're sending to the rest of the team, and we'll pull those all together. And if you're sending invoices where you include all those work logs, what we'll do is we'll strip all the formatting really similar to what you're seeing here. So let's say that there's a workshop review that I sent to everyone, a 30-minute update on the workshop. If I go ahead to the project and I invoice and want to share the work that I'm doing on the invoice, you'll see what it looks like. So here in the work detail, we have the subject. And for those of you who do like to include the body, we've taken away the formatting to just include the text that more falls in line with the style and the branding of the invoice that you're going to send out. And then the last piece of viewing activities is any historical activities in the system. And because this is a new feature, all the historical emails with rich text that you may have sent out of Office or Gmail will come in as plain text. And any future emails that you want to send out of the system with rich text, of course, would now have rich text within your stream and anywhere that you view activities. So what I'll do is I'll pass it over to Geoff, who's going to talk a bit about the timeline and what to expect next with this upgrade.
Thanks so much, John. So the team's working hard to get us in place to do a preview. So our preview will involve the ability for all of our users to be able to go in and see a parallel version of their account with all of their same data, all of the same activities and projects and tickets and all the other good stuff, and actually practice and play around with using the rich text experience in creating their activities. So we're looking forward to sharing some stuff about that over the next week. We're actually racing to see if we can beat Santa to getting you into that. So stand by for an email from us about how you can log in and play with the preview. We'll then remain in preview for probably only a few weeks. Often we've run previews for a much longer period of time to gather lots of great feedback and use cases. But in this case, because a preview will involve you creating activities in rich format and then over in your production system or your sort of primary environment, only being able to see them as plain text and then potentially getting things a bit confused if you go and edit them in various places. We'll actually be trying to keep that preview period relatively tight so there's very little chance of things getting out of sync on your account or through your user's experience. After we get what John's shown up and going and live for you all to preview, we'll then be focusing our energies on future steps. So some of you will probably know that you can actually create activities in Accelo through both triggers, as sort of when something is running late, for example, or let's say it's a sales trigger where you want to send a reminder to the salesperson that the email they've been, or sorry, that the deal they're working on hasn't had any progress over the last week, and you want to send them a bit of a gentle or not so gentle reminder. As well as during progressions, when you go from, let's say, opening a ticket, and you send an email to the client saying, "Hi, we've just opened your ticket." Those sorts of templated or saved activities will be getting the rich text functionality next. And we're doing them next because they also involve merge fields and a few other variables to play with. After we've done that, we'll be looking to add the rich text component over time gradually to many other places where you have multi-line text inputs. So that'll be things like descriptions of tickets, tasks, milestones. So you can just imagine creating a task, being able to use the rich text interface to be able to put some bullets in there, embed some images, all that sort of good stuff to make the instructions easy as possible for folks. We'll also be looking to do the same thing with comments. So those of you who've seen it, there's that left-hand side comments area that's common to things like clients, sales, projects, and more. So again, enabling the rich text experience in those areas so you can have bullet lists or bold or links that go somewhere else. There's also certain cover emails or activities that we send when you send out a quote, an invoice, a purchase, a sign-off. There's lots of these places where an activity gets created. And so we'll actually be extending those to support the rich format. And then finally, as I mentioned, the sign-offs and the client portal invitations. So there are a couple of things that are coming as a sort of like one after the other from a rollout perspective. Other things that we want to do, but we haven't necessarily locked in behind yet, are things like support for existing images that you may have already uploaded in the attachments area, and making it easy for you to embed or insert those into the rich text, treating, if you like, the existing attachments as a bit of a library. So it's something we're looking into. We really want to hear from our users around that and use cases there. The engineering side of things, it feels like something that makes sense, but we also don't want to go down a trail of doing a bunch of work that no one actually cares about. There's also the rich text from captured emails, the incoming emails that we get. We're not going live with those to start with. There's actually a lot of work required to support those guys safely and securely. And the key there is really around the security, because an incoming email could come from anybody and say anything and have any HTML inside of it. And one of the reasons we initially did plain text only was because of the need to make sure we quarantine the user's experience, and we did end up with somebody sending something naughty through and then having it open in a way that you don't want inside your browser when you're looking at, main systems like Accelo. There could be even more than that. We do have a fairly powerful library set at our disposal, and obviously a really smart engineering team. So very much open to feedback from users, and we'll prioritize that. Obviously, there's lots of other things that our users want us to do as well. So we're not just going to go, sort of down the rabbit hole of rich text forever. But yeah, it's definitely a priority set for us, and we'll continue to enhance it. All right, we'll jump in now to a couple of bonuses. Always love a bonus. So the first three I'm going to show you are, the first one I'm going to show you is a major improvement and a huge amount of engineering work that's going on at the moment, which is our new triggers, user interface, as well as event-based triggers. So this is the kind of triggers that our users really want, where when an email comes back from a support ticket, like let's say a client emails back in and says, "Hey, that didn't work for me after all," you want to be able to register that ticket status is resolved and the client has sent you an email, and therefore you want to automatically reopen the ticket, for example, and maybe send an email to the ticket owner going, "Oh, by the way, client's not happy with this yet." So these event-based triggers will be going live with the work the team are doing now. That's still weeks away. It's a huge amount of work. If you can imagine the complexity of having a trigger that runs when an issue is first created, and one of its things is to send an email to the help desk team, for example. Now, the act of sending an email is actually an event. And so if you then have an event-based trigger, that could actually then change statuses and quite possibly even send another email, which becomes another event. And then whenever you change the status, that counts as one of the ongoing variables. So there is the potential for spirals that get really, really out of control on these triggers, these intelligent piece of functionality. So from an engineering point of view, there's really two parts to it. One of them is making it so it's hard for users to do things that do damage and that they don't understand. And the other thing is about making sure the infrastructure is able to scale with confidence while also being kind of self-protecting, and making sure that we don't end up with problems there. So there is a lot of work going on in the background around these event triggers, but we're really looking forward to bringing them to you. And as a team, we're really looking forward to having them too with our own use of Accelo. So we're right there in the driver's seat with you. All right, the next sneak peek is 3 features in our mobile app. 2 of them which are actually available right now in beta, and a third one which is coming soon. Now, for those of you who don't know, we run an open beta program here at Accelo, and anyone can join. If you go to accelo.com/mobile, then whether it's Android or iOS, and then /beta, and you can see those links in the bottom right, you can actually sign up to the beta yourself, and then be able to get updates of our mobile app that are a little bit before everyone else. So you can see the first thing that we've got in beta now is our quotes module. So following hot on the footsteps of the major upgrade we did for the quotes module about a month ago, probably less actually, we've now got quotes in the mobile app. Now, these are not full kind of quote creation, editing, lots of text, lots of layout type functionality. Mobile phones are just a little bit too geographically constrained, but we do have the ability for you to see quotes, be able to see the details about them, make some very simple edits. But the main thing actually seeing the quotes there, whether it's been accepted or whether it's still a draft, and then also being able to click on an events button. And in the events area, you're able to see whether the quote's been edited and who edited it, when it's been sent, whether it's been approved, all that sort of stuff. So you can see what's going on with your quotes in the mobile app. It also lets you download a PDF easily, which is going to be really critical for a lot of folks. You know, you might not sit there and think that you're going to draw up a 4-page quote on the mobile, but you definitely want to be able to pull that 4-page quote up if you're having a chat with having a conversation with a client and there's a question or a dispute. Being able to pull up exactly what was promised right there and then is invaluable. All right, the next one is sign-offs. So sign-offs is a feature inside of Accelo that allows you to be able to send to often your client something you'd like them to provide feedback on and approve. And a classic example would be you know, a design or something like that which you want to send off to the client for approval. So with Accelo, that module is built in. You can send sign-offs to clients, and this allows you to see quickly and easily when a sign-off has been sent, if it's been accepted or declined. All that information is available in the mobile app as well. And again, sign-offs are in beta as well. Next. Now, this is the feature that's around the corner. This is the timesheet screen in mobile. So, you know, most of the use cases for mobile are where you're about to meet with a client, or you are meeting with a client, you're on site with a client, and you need to have quick access to information. The other type of use cases we have are around making use of some of the spare time that you've got. And so an example we've got here is imagining you're sitting there, you're standing on the train platform waiting for a train or, you know, a bus, or you're on your commute, or you've got 10 minutes, whatever it happens to be. Being able to quickly pull up your timesheet and jot in some time. And as you can see, there's examples here of where there's tasks that had recommended 5-minute or 23-minute periods in that middle screenshot. Although, yeah, it's a middle screenshot. Or there's been emails that have been sent and you want to log just the time on those. The ability for you to quickly come in here and just update your timesheet while you're on the move is really attractive. Another feature that a lot of folks don't know about in mobile that has a similar mindset of helping you to keep track of your time is the ability for you to set smart locations. So if you haven't discovered those yet and you spend a bunch of time on site with a couple of key clients, you might really love them. I know personally I've got it set up so that whenever I leave the office, it automatically stops all of my timers. And, you know, if I went on site with a couple of key clients, it'll automatically log my time while I'm on site there with them. So, you know, there's a few cool things as well that are very mobile specific that this timesheets feature to help you log your time as you think of it, and not need you to get out a laptop or wait until you're back in front of a computer. That'd be great.